What is going on, everybody? Back again today to bring you guys another Masters of the Universe toy related video. So, you've seen the title. This is, well, I'm gonna be honest. At the point in time that I'm actually making this video, I haven't settled on a title, but it's gonna, of course, be something along the lines of like every figure we want from the Masterverse toy line. And that's exactly what it is. I've got a little presentation put together, slideshow presentation showing, in my opinion, the way I like to think of this is every single character that I know for myself, and I think for pretty much the entire Motu fan base. This is every single character that we need to get a figure of in order for this line to be even remotely considered complete. This is this is a bare bones minimum character roster in order for this to be considered a complete line. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into it. First up is Roboto. So the first several of these characters are going to come from the Revelation, or they're going to be. I'm proposing that they release them in the Revelation subline of the Masterverse, of the overall Masterverse toy line. Namely because Revelation, in terms of its style and animation, a lot of the characters, I would say the vast majority, they retained their classic, typical Masters of the Universe look, and they are good designs for them. And Roboto is no exception. This is pretty classic, typical Roboto, and I think it would be great if we got a figure of him in the Masterverse Revelation line. It would be cool if he came with some like interchangeable attachments for his arms, like a cannon, two hands, two fists, a cannon, stuff like that. So that would be really cool. Next up is the various He-Men that we saw in the Preternia portion of the Revelation show. We're already getting King Grayskull, but it would be really cool to get Vicor, Wondar, and then most importantly, the one that I would like to get the most is Hero. Hero is a huge Masters of the Universe character from the whole well, in the past, it's been the era that he's from has been called Preternia, but for Revelation, they changed what the hell Preternia means. So, but needless to say, Hero is a very important, very big name character in Masters of the Universe, and I really would like to get a Hero figure in the Masterverse line. I would like to get all three of these, but first and foremost, Hero. Next up is going to be Clamp Champ, a pretty staple character in the Heroic Warriors. Definitely want to see him, and his Revelation attire and costume is, it's his classic look, so there's nothing wrong with that. They don't need to change it. They don't need to do any kind of variance. This is just fine the way it is. King Randor. Now with King Randor, he has for the most part of the series, he's just in his normal King Randor outfit, and then for the final battle, he's got his sword, he's got his like blaster pistol, and he's wearing armor, both like down his arms, across his torso, and on his legs. So this is a character where if they wanted to do this guy as kind of a deluxe figure, I would pay the extra money to have just the normal King Randor, but then also in the packaging as a deluxe figure to get the extra weapon accessories and the extra armor that could be attached to this guy. That would be a cool idea for a deluxe figure. If not that, maybe do variants. You could do two just completely different versions of the character as a figure. Do one where he's just in his normal like Royal Palace outfit, and then another where he's in his more like battle armor. And if not that, then if I have to just pick one, I'm gonna choose the battle armor. If you're only going to give us one King Randor, I would like it to be the battle ready King Randor with the weapons in the armor, because that one's just better. It's the cooler King Randor. But first and foremost, I think it would make a good deluxe figure with the extra armor and weapons in the packaging along with the normal King Randor. We got Ram Man. Definitely going to need to have a Ram Man. He was not in the Revelation show all that much, but he is a staple character in Masters of the Universe, and his Revelation outfit and overall look to him was pretty typical, pretty standard. So adapting his Revelation look into a figure for the Revelation line would be appropriate, and it's almost a must-have. Like I said, he's a very staple character from Masters of the Universe. Clawful. Clawful did not have, I don't believe Clawful had any dialogue in the Masters of the Universe Revelation show, but he was still there and he took part in some of the fight scenes and battles. And once again, he's somewhat of a staple character as part of Skeletor's Evil Warriors. So I think a Clawful figure is necessary for this toy line in order to be thought of as a complete Masters of the Universe toy line. Whiplash is in the same vein as Clawful. Once again, I don't believe he had any dialogue in the show, but everything I just said about Clawful and why we need a Clawful figure, it rings true for Whiplash just the same. And then, of course, Prince Adam. We definitely need a Prince Adam figure. It has, I think, the first time that Prince Adam was ever depicted similar to this was in the 2000X series. And by that I mean there's a genuine transformation between Prince Adam and He-Man. If you look back at the old Filmation show, whether he was Prince Adam or He-Man, he looked damn near the same. The only thing different about him was the outfit he was wearing, his clothes. Other than that, like, Prince Adam was just as beefy and muscular as He-Man was. And that's dumb. You know, I like this type of thing more, where when he's Prince Adam, he's more youthful looking, he's a little shorter, he's slighter of builds, scrawnier, more slender, and then when he transforms, he gets taller, he gets more muscular, he gets a deeper voice. That's the way to go. So, Prince Adam figure from this Masterverse wave, I think a lot of characters, not just from the Masterverse wave, but a Prince Adam figure based on how he appeared in the Revelation show. I think that would greatly appeal to a lot of Motu toy collectors, and I think a lot of people, not only to have one with their Masterverse collection, I think a lot of people would buy a second one to kind of fudge into their Masters of the Universe Classics toy line, because I think it's just a superior rendition of Prince Adam. It's a superior iteration of him. So definitely need to get a Prince Adam. Beastman and Merman. Now you might be saying, why are these guys on the list? We're getting a Revelation Beastman and a Revelation Merman. Yes, we are, but they're the looks of the figures are specific to Masters of the Universe Revelation, and I can tell you right now, from my personal opinion, that's all well and good. That's a cool idea for like variants, but when it comes to a Masters of the Universe toy line, I first and foremost want my mainstay typical version of the character, the way that they normally appear, the typical way that you think about them. And that's pretty much what we have here in these are Motu Classics versions of the characters. So if we could pretty much just get these two figures redone in the Masterverse line with the Masterverse body molds and the Masterverse articulation, that would be great. But just have them done in this design, their typical staple Masters of the Universe looks. That would be great. And I think it would be really easy to do because they already have a Beastman and Merman body mold. They already have one version of the character. Just retool it a little bit, change up the details, add some different armor and stuff. You could re-release the same figure just as a variant in their more iconic, typical look. So, that's all of the characters for the typical Masters of the Universe or the Skeletor's Evil Warriors. Now we're going to get into... Excuse me. Alright, sorry about that. Quick break. So now we're going to get into some of the She-Ra and Evil Horde characters, and why I think that we are pretty much guaranteed to get some of these characters in figure form. Two reasons. One, at PowerCon, they showed off the box art for these 4 different sublines within the Masterverse line. So they're all part of the Masterverse line. You can see on the top, but they have 4 different sublines. The 4 lines being Revelation, New Eternia, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the new child-oriented Netflix show, and then of course this one is Princess of Power, and specifically this is going to be She-Ra. The others are He-Man. This is She-Ra. Within this Princess of Power subline, I could see us getting not just She-Ra, but a lot of the characters from the Great Rebellion, a lot of Horde characters, and then on top of that, within the Revelation show, at the cliffhanger ending for part 2 was Trapjaw and Triclops' like motherboard idol in their chapel kind of came to life, and out of its forehead this little projector came out and projected this symbol of the Horde. This is Hordak's symbol of the Horde. So between the fact that we know we're getting a Princess of Power subline and that they're teasing the Horde for the next part of the Revelation show, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're going to be getting some She-Ra slash Evil Horde figures. And for me, I pretty much, of course, She-Ra and Princess Adora, they have to happen. Not just She-Ra, we also want Princess Adora. We want both. And it can be an updated look, it doesn't have to be the typical look from like the Filmation show. I always thought she's supposed to be a warrior princess, and I always felt that her look in the Filmation show leaned a little more to the princess than it did to the warrior. I'm cool with it leaning a little more towards the warrior. I'd like her to have a little bit more armor and look a little bit more like she can kick some ass. So that would be great. And then, of course, other characters from the Great Rebellion. Two versions here. This is the classic Filmation versions of the characters, and then this is a more just like an updated concept art portrait for some of these characters. I honestly think this is really cool. This stuff, I'd be kind of cool to just see get left by the wayside. It's just a little too fruity and girly, and it's just you know what I'm trying to say. It it looks like a bad Disney movie, like the from like the 40s. Like it's just uh yeah, this is much better. If they wanted to do something like this with some of the Great Rebellion supporting characters to go along with She-Ra, this would be great. Specifically Bo. I think this is a much cooler version of Bo. They put a damn heart on this guy. Like his chest emblem is a heart. Seriously? Like come on. Who is this for? Who is this anyway? This would be a better idea. This would be something better to do. But regardless, I do hope we get the other characters of the Great Rebellion. And to go with them, I hope we get, of course, Hordak. I don't know why. Like Skeletor is He-Man's number one villain. He-Man and Skeletor are like Batman and the Joker. But there's for some reason I view Hordak as like the real fucking deal. Like He-Man versus Skeletor, like I said, it's like Batman and the Joker. Batman and the Joker are constantly at odds with each other. The Joker is constantly breaking out and getting free and causing havoc around Gotham City, and then Batman has to go round him up and stop whatever evil, insane plan he's got going on. And He-Man and Skeletor are no different. Skeletor's always coming up with some new plot to gain power or break into Castle Grayskull, and He-Man's always stopping him. It's a threat, but He-Man has dealt with it so many times before. It's just kind of like, we're a little desensitized to it. Hordak though, Hordak showing up on Eternia and invading Eternia with his evil horde at his back, that that's like to me that's the real fucking deal. That's the real villain showing up. That's the real big bad that you do not want to fuck with. So I really want to get a Hordak figure. It can be the more updated, red, black, and gray version, or if they want to go with the more classic Filmation, red, black, and blue, that's acceptable as well. I don't care, just as long as he looks scary and menacing and powerful and evil. That's all I ask. If he looks like a childish cartoon, if the toy comes out looking like a childish cartoon, that's when I'm going to be kind of like, I don't want to buy this. And then, of course, along with Hordak, we need to get all the other mainstay characters for the evil horde. I'm talking Octavia, Grizzlor. Definitely not the Filmation version of Grizzlor. In fact, let's not don't give us Filmation inspired versions of these characters at all. Do update these guys as well. I know for a fact that like I know a minute ago I said I showed a picture of some updated concept art for the Great Rebellion characters. Do some updated designs for the evil horde. Like Grizzlor, I do not want the Filmation version of Grizzlor. Or Scorpia or Cash, and none of these pretty much. Hordak, Shadow Weaver, maybe Mantenna, and Leech. Those are the only ones that are acceptable. A lot of them need a costume slash outfit update. So, but pretty much all these, we need to see all of these in the toy line. I don't know who this lady is with the big long hair, But yeah, give us some Horde troopers, give us Octavia, give us Grizzlor, give us Scorpia, Shadow Weaver, Hordak, Mantena, Catra, Leech. Give us all of those guys. That would be great, and they would pair up nicely if we also got the Great Rebellion characters to go along with She-Ra. And then we've already got, with the Revelation toy line, we're already getting most of the heroic warriors and the heroic or the evil warriors. So the collection would be damn near complete at this point. We would have He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, Skeletor and the Evil Warriors, She-Ra, the Great Rebellion, Hordak and the Evil Horde, and all we would really be missing at this point is the Snake Men. Now, I don't know where in any of these toy lines, in any of these 4 sub-brands, you could fit in the Snake Men, because unless, so far from what we've seen, they don't seem to play a role at all in the Revelation story, unless they are somewhere down the road introduced in this new show as maybe like a third army for the heroes to contend with along with Hordak. So we got like a 3-way battle between the Masters of the Universe, or shit, I guess it would be a 4-way battle. Masters of the Universe, Skeletor Evil Warriors, Hordak Evil Horde, She-Ra Great Rebellion, King Hiss and the Snake Men, all these forces colliding. If it builds up to something like that, then I could see them making Snake Men figures for the Revelation line. Otherwise, I don't know where these guys would fit in, but it would be really nice if we could get some Masterverse figures of King Hiss and the Snake Men. And we don't need to do army building. You don't need to give us just basic Snake Men soldiers, at least I don't think so, but a lot of the main staple characters: King Hiss, General Ratlore, Cobra Khan, Squeeze, Snakeface. A lot of these characters be really cool to get figures of them for the Masterverse line. And if we got all of that, I would say that this toy line is probably pretty complete. Because if you think about that, at that point, if we got everything that I just said, we've got He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, we've got Skeletor and all the evil warriors, we've got She-Ra and the Great Rebellion characters, Hordak and the Evil Horde characters, and King Hiss and the other Snake Men characters. We've got all 5 fingers of the Motu fist, and it all comes together. And at that point, I would consider this a very complete toy line and a very nice collection for any Motu fan to own. So that's my take on that. That's every single character that I think we should get a figure of in the Motu Masterverse toy line. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any characters that I missed, and keep in mind what I just gave you, the list I just gave you, that's a minimum. That's a minimum for me in order for it to be considered a complete toy line. There are many other Masters of the Universe characters that have been created over the years that could be added to the toy line, but for me, they're not necessary. The ones that I consider bare bones minimum necessary were in that presentation. So, if you disagree, if there's any out there that I left out and you think that they 100% deserve to be in there, leave some comments below. Let me know, get a discussion started. If you liked this video and you watched it all the way to the end, I thank you. And please hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Also, to help out the channel, you can check out some of my other videos, maybe subscribe. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.